Alright, so this is 300 PRC video 2, where last time I checked in, I was going to do my initial 10-shot load development to check my powder charges, get a pressure node going, and I was going to load 86, from 83.3 to 86 grains of Ramshot LRT, pushing a Burger 230 OTM tactical out of my Course 300 PRC. So, start with the first round. This is a cold clean bore. First shot was 27.45, number 2 is 28.18, number 3 is 27.96, number 4 is 28.21, number 5 is 28.25. 4-shot feet per second spread right there. Then we go to number 6, 28.41. Then here's where it gets fun. Number 7 is 28.67, number 8 is 28.63, number 9 is 28.68, and then number 10 is 28.95. So it's irrelevant, but I put it in here anyway. Total SD of that 10-shot development was 43, ES of 150. There's a huge node from number 7, 8, and 9, which is 85.1 grain, 85.4 grain, 85.7 grain, where there is a, say, 5 feet per second difference between all those rounds. So that leads me to my my second stage of the load development, which, since I found that huge node from 85.1 to 85.7, I loaded there, and I loaded 3 rounds of each charge. I done 3 rounds at 85.1, or I done 6 rounds at 85.1. 3 was for a warm up. So I done 85.1, 85.3, 85.5, and 85.7 grains, and my numbers were all over the place, and I couldn't figure out why they were all over the place. And so in my notes here, wrong side, you can't see anything. Anyway, I promise I'm not reading off of a blank piece of paper. Let's turn this light off for a second. There we go. My notes, you can't really tell, but there's some asterisks in there. The asterisks signified it was hard to close my bolt. Not lift it, but hard to close. There was no pressure sign throughout this entire test, which was awesome. But I had I had to really torque my bolt to get it to close. And so I'm assuming that threw my numbers off because there are some inconsistencies in my sizing. So I had my lowest ES and SD was 8 SD, 15 ES. And that was at 85.7. And my numbers were 28.96, 28.96, and 29.11. So that would have been cool to get those velocities out of a 230 grain bullet, but it just wasn't right because I had 2 heavy bolt lifts there. So what I did is I went back to my sizing die, and I had set my sizing die up to bump my shoulders 2/1000s, and it was causing them to be hard to close, and I didn't want that because clearly it threw off my pressures. And so I went back and I resized everything, and I zeroed out my caliper, and I used a Hornady headspace comparator and number E420 if you're loading 300 PRC. But I went through and zeroed out on one case, and I measured like 7 cases total, and all those 7 cases were zeroed, like they were all the same overall length. And so I saw if I could chamber one, and I couldn't chamber it. So all those cases were the same, couldn't chamber any of them. And so I went back through and I resized a total of 3/1000s, because I tried 2/1000s from there. It was still hard to close my bolt, so I added another 1,000, and my bolt closes easy. So I can't do a 2,000 shoulder bump. I have to do a 3,000 shoulder bump with my Savage 110 Elite Precision. Don't know if that's common on all the guns. If you have one and you're reloading 300 PRC for it, let me know. If you're reloading anything and you're shooting a Savage 110 Elite Precision, let me know. I want to see if it's common. Excuse me. And so after I redone that, I redid my test with actual consistent resized brass, and trying to find my page with my numbers on it. There we go. And I reshot it all. I done 2 warm-up, 3-shot, or I done 1 warm-up group at 85.1, and those numbers were 28.61, 28.63, 29.05. Terrible. That was a SD of 24, ES of 44. And then I done my second 3-shot group at 85.1, and I got 2891, 2895, 2889, SD of 3, ES of 6. On number 3, which would be 85.3 grains, I got 2893, 2889, 2894. Awesome. So there's a node there. 28 or 85.5 came out at 2908, 2882, 2868. Terrible. And then 85.7 came out at 2914, 2937, and 2884. Which, like, you can't see it. This is crazy. But I had a total extreme spread of 6 and an SD of 6 between 85.1 and 85.3. So I redone my load for my seating depth test because my groups were terrible. Like, my groups were absolute dog crap. Oh, this is my old target. My new target's in the truck. Sorry. But I loaded right in the middle of that 85.1 and 85.3 at 85.2 grains. And so I've got 19 rounds loaded up to do my seating depth test. And I think my max seating depth, I don't have it written down. It's written down somewhere. The wife's over here trying to mop the floor. Don't cut your eyes at me like that. I'm lying. I don't have it written down anywhere. But it's in my other notes that's in the truck. So anyway, my max seating depth I think is no, that's cartridge based. Yes, 2.962. So I done 2.962 and I subtracted 3 thousandths for six total 3-shot strings of fire. So I'm gonna have 18 thousandths variance between my max CBTO and then that CBTO. And if I can't find 2 consistently good 3-shot groups in there, then I'm gonna go even deeper until I get to, I guess, the top of my bearing surface on my bullet. So that'll be in 300 PRC number 3. Stay tuned for that one. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Thank y'all. See you shortly.